What's happening, guys? Got a question from a guy named Frank. Frank asked for some action steps. In a nutshell, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not even looking at the question, to be honest. I saw it earlier today, but everything I do is off the cuff. So I got a question from Frank. Frank asked for some action steps to be more successful in long-term fasting and fitness, in particular for weight loss and just achieving your goals in general. Frank says he gets on the wagon for about 3-4 weeks and then completely falls off and starts binging and starts doing stupid shit. Okay, I'm going to go into some general action steps because it's a general question and it's really basic stuff that people don't frame in their mind properly and they don't frame in their program properly. So before I do that, I will say you guys need to subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe button. There's a weird algorithm now with YouTube where if you don't hit the subscribe button on my channel, my dog shows up to your house, rings the doorbell, and poops on your lawn. Don't ask me how it works. I have no idea. It's crazy. So hit that subscribe button, okay? I don't want your lawn pooped on. Okay, go. Now, question. Frank, I'm going to give you some action steps, and they're going to be very simple, okay? Number one thing you have to look at is your program, your plan. These are the things that you're going to implement to get the results that you want. So, for example, your diet, your fasting times, your sleep schedule, your workout schedule, your stress relief, okay? That is everything that you're going to implement in the plan to get the result you want. Either do some research on your own, find a good plan that you think is going to work for you, or contact someone like me for coaching, okay? The people who do best, do the very best in my coaching list are the ones who just stick to the plan. Now it's like, no duh, right? No duh, stick to the fucking plan. Obviously, if you cheat, you don't get the results. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, but people have a hard time sticking to it. Why? Well, because they don't have the next two action steps in fucking order, okay? So, make sure you got a good plan. Obviously, if you want to do some weight loss, you're going to have to put fasting in there. You're going to have to make sure your addictions are in check. You're going to have to make sure your calories are in check. Your macros fit your goal. Your workouts are, on point with the rest of your program. You don't want to be overworking. You don't want to be underworking, okay? That's like to figure out all that stuff, that takes a little bit, okay? But make sure you get that figured out to the point where you think you have a good plan and stick to that plan. Don't mix match. Don't go back to YouTube and think, this is fucking hard, so I'm going to go back to YouTube and look at other plans and then mix match with, say you have a low carb plan and you're doing some fasting, then all of a sudden you go to some bodybuilding forum and they're saying eat 200 grams of carbs. If you mix match that and constantly overthink the program, you're never going to fucking get anywhere. Find one good plan and stick to it, okay? So that's the first one. The second one is going to help you stick to the plan, okay? These are going to build off of each other. The next thing you have to look at is your circumstances. What are your circumstances? Are you a single person? Do you have kids at home that you have to cook for? Do you have a job that involves eating out sometimes? Do you have junk food in your fridge? How often are you working out? Is it that you're actually working out twice a week, or can you actually work out 5 times a week? A lot of people try to change their circumstances to the point of perfection. You can never do that. But what you need to do is change as many of the bad circumstances as you can, okay? And keep the good ones. Obviously, if you have a bunch of junk food in your fridge and you're trying to beat food addiction, a good circumstance to change would be that junk food. Throw it the fuck out. It's not going anywhere, okay? Throw it out. Junk food's always going to be available as long as we don't hit some kind of post-apocalyptic world after this whole corona bullshit, okay? Another circumstance on playing off that, that we can look at is this whole Corona situation. A lot of us cannot get to the gym unless you're a gym owner or something like that. Most of us can't go to a public gym. So what do you have at home? Uh, you have to adapt at home. Obviously, like for me to go bench press at home, I don't have 400 pounds here. I don't have a rack anymore, even, or a bench here anymore. Okay. A lot of my stuff was stolen in 2015. I had a bunch of workout gear and it got stolen out of my garage, but that's a whole other story. But that's a circumstance that you have to contend with. Okay, now you're doing home workouts. That might mean that you have to do longer fasts, okay? Get your circumstances in check, okay? Eliminate people that are trying to sabotage you. So if you have like a roommate or a spouse or a friend or something that's constantly trying to sabotage you, you have to either sit down with them and say, hey, what I'm doing is important to me. It's going to make me stronger. It's going to make me faster, smarter, healthier. It's really important that I do this. I don't care if you do it with me or not, but please don't sabotage me. And if they love you at all, they should fucking understand that you're doing this thing that's going to make you better. Okay? And if not, then you may have to limit your time with that person. Or, I've even had people kick out their spouse. And hopefully it doesn't come to that, but sometimes hard fucking decisions have to be made. Okay? Another circumstance would be like if you go to work and there's a box of donuts there every day, then, that's not quite a situation you can change. So that's going to lead me into the third action step here that you have to implement is just simply toughness, willpower, being tough. You can't fucking just yell at people and be like, hey, don't fucking bring donuts to work, you fucking idiots, blah, blah, blah. So what you can do is be tough in the face of the circumstances you have left, okay? With toughness, so that would mean like acknowledging the donuts and just getting past it or removing yourself from the situation and just not giving in, okay? Because people will try to tell you that there's a food psychology problem, etc., etc. And yeah, it's that we are ingrained to revolve our worlds around food. That's the fucking problem, okay? These people that spend like a year in therapy for food addiction counseling and all that bullshit, they never really get anywhere. They get mediocre results like 2 years after starting the program. And it's like, well, fuck, you could have came to me and we could have been there already and you'd have no addiction by now by just implementing simple fucking tools like being tough, right? So don't overthink it. You have to just kind of shut down that reptilian part of the brain, whatever you want to call that, and fucking either get away from the triggers or be tough enough to say, hey, I'm not going to let this beat me. Fuck that. Those donuts look good, but fuck that, I have a goal. That cookie looks good, but fuck that, I have a goal. Okay? So you have to implement toughness over the circumstances that you can't control. Okay? Because your circumstances are never going to be perfect. And you have to implement toughness when following through with your program and your plan. So those are the three things right there. What a lot of people will do is they'll get to the toughness part, they'll hit a little bit of adversity, and then they'll go back to the circumstance and be like, oh, well, I couldn't do it because it was too fucking tough and I gave in and now I got to change some more circumstances, but I don't know what to change. I don't know where to start or what to do. And they'll try to get their circumstances perfect when they just had to implement toughness. And then they'll fail and they'll blame the circumstance instead of taking accountability, okay? So another thing I do with my coaching is I get people to be accountable to me because it's easier to be accountable to an authority figure than yourself sometimes, okay? Some people have that internal drive, some people don't. When I get them used to being accountable to me, in turn, I can get them to start being accountable to themselves. And not to keep going back to my coaching, but this is my, I don't rely on other people's studies. I rely on my own coaching, my own experience from years and years of fucking doing it. It's, studies are great to look at to get a general idea of which direction to try sometimes, but ultimately experience is fucking everything, okay? And I'm saying, like, I'm not bashing fucking food psychology because, I'm trying to sell a product or something. It's because I've seen too many, everybody that I've seen apply it fucking fails. They think they got ahead. They're like, yeah, I'm doing so much better now. I fucking, instead of eating 2 pieces of cake, I'm eating 1 piece of cake. So you shouldn't be having any cake, you fat fuck. You lost 10 pounds over the course of 2 years. We could have knocked that off you in a week. Like, fuck. Fucking grow a set of fucking balls, or grow a fucking, if you're a woman, fucking, get some courage to fucking face these things. We're taught to be victims, and that's the problem, is you keep falling back into this fucking victim mentality of my circumstances are too hard, the program's too hard, boo-hoo. Well, yeah, first world problems that we have over here. Fuck. So that's it, man. It literally boils down to being tough at the end, okay? And things you can do to get out of those situations where you're being triggered. For example, you make your food for your kids, okay? And the food looks good and you're being triggered and you're not supposed to eat that day. Keep in mind, you shouldn't be feeding your kids shit anyway. You should be feeding them healthy food as much as possible, right? But that food, if it's triggering you, just walk away for 20 minutes. Do some breathing, whether it's some like Wim Hof or Buteyko breathing, something like that. Just do some fucking breathing, or do a workout, or do some yoga, whatever's going to de-stress you a little bit and get your mind back on track, okay? And then, go finish making the food and then go jump on a hobby or something. Get your mind away from the food. You just think about the food too much. See, overthinking leads you nowhere. Okay? It leads you to YouTube where you mix match. It leads you to more stress where you fucking cave because I gotta stress eat. You use stress eating as a fucking excuse, right? So that's it, man. That's all I got. Make a good plan. Change what circumstances you can and be tough enough to overcome the circumstances that are left and to follow through with your plan. The people who follow through with the plan always get the best results. And long term, okay, once you get in that habit of fucking winning, once you get in that habit of fucking beating, achieving your goals and beating these little mental traps that you set out for yourself that psychology says that it's not your fault. Once you start beating that stuff, you realize, oh shit, I'm way tougher than anybody gives me credit for. And it becomes so habitual to do that you actually be that. You become a matter of be by doing, right? Then you will be that person who doesn't get triggered by junk food. Then you will be that person that can walk by a pizza shop and not give a fuck. Then you will be that person that works out 5 days a week because they like it, okay? Do. It's like an acquired taste. Fasting, fitness, healthy lifestyle is an acquired taste. But once you acquire it, it's the best taste in the world. All right, so I'll leave you on that note. If you guys do want to hit me up for coaching, it's 4, the number 4, element, ELEMENT, fit, FIT, at gmail.com. Send me an email. I will send you details. Or you can contact me at Snake Diet Dan on Facebook and at Snake Diet Dan on Instagram, okay? That's it. Love yous. Peace.